myself to tie this town.
Eminent Waste of Time, episode 79. I'm Chad. I got nobody to co-host with me. Look around here. We are at MWXC, or I am at MWXC, and as you guys can see, I just drove the Acre Shaker here because it's not too far from the house, and it's a muddy mess. We've had rain. You can see how far the tires have sunk in there. Yeah, just a bunch of rain, and they're expecting another round of it here soon. They're getting ready to kick the PM bikes off. Side-by-sides are running tonight still, or this evening or afternoon. Should be a good time. Hope you guys enjoy it all. Man, it's gonna be a muddy mess, but it's gonna be a fun one. The muddy ones are sometimes the best. Welcome back. So right now I'm sloshing through the mud, as you can hear. And let me turn you guys around here. There, maybe that's better. Maybe it's worse. So, side-by-sides are going to be running tonight. Looking forward to that. MWXC is running a little bit behind today. The mud doesn't help. It always makes it longer to pull people out and everything like that. AM bikes are at 1 lap, plus or minus, kind of depending where they started. Waiting on all this to get going. Gonna find some of the guys who we race with, talk to them, see if we can make a show out of this.
Is this like candid podcast?
Yeah, we're just us talking.
Oh, in that case, those Eminent Performance guys.
They suck.
Yeah, they're terrible. Did you see that last podcast? It was the worst one ever.
You're not wrong. But the next one could be worse. That's a great thing. We can always make a worse one.
That Doug guy, though, he drove a Chevy, that last podcast.
I heard he loves it, yeah. I heard he's getting a Cavalier now.
That seemed fitting.
Put 29s on it, he takes it on the track.
But he never got, because he told me that he had a pain trying to find the.
He was trying to charge me like $30 for them.
He said they were
Edit
expensive.
that out of the podcast.
No, that's going in because we got Devin here now.
I'm on.
He thought I was racing. I should have said, yeah,
You know Keith from Precision Powder Coating. He's right there.
He's right down there.
Keith!
You gotta censor that for the kids.
Yeah, that'll have to be censored out.
Camera watches it on TV.
Radio edit. Jerk.
Who's this?
Mary Kay. Your grandma. I thought it was Mary Kay. I saw it. I was like, that's Mary Kay.
So Devin, you're not running today.
No, sir.
Why not?
He's riding with
I
Tyler
already started
Brittingham.
drinking. I don't mix driving and drinking together.
That's smart.
Unless I'm in my truck.
You
better say you're
police
kidding.
knocking on his door later tonight.
You're kidding.
Don't post this until I get home. No, kids, I'm just kidding. I will stay at a hotel tonight, but I have to drive there.
This is getting worse. Welcome to MWXC Racing, where it's raining, it's really cold, and you'll get to see how deep this creek crossing is here. Oh, they're getting ready to start the side-by-sides. Oh, it's pushing me down. I slid a couple feet there. The creek's rushing so quick. So quick update, it's sleeting. And I hear the BMR car coming through. They shortened the course to a little over a mile. They are turning like quick lap times. Look at that thing dance. right now we have Barry Mueller in first, John Barnes in second. That is the Michael Plank old buggy there. I don't know who the new owner is, but they are the only 800, so they're first in their class. And here they come dancing. Look at that thing, sideways and sliding. He's the only one in the single driver class today. Well, welcome to Eminent Waste of Time, guys. I already said I'm Chad, you know that, and I have Steve here with me. So, Steve, how you doing?
I'm here and kicking.
Yeah. So, the reason we got Steve here instead of Doug. Doug was supposed to be here. Doug was, on vacation. He was going to make it back. We were going to do the podcast and all that fun stuff. But stupid stuff with us is brought to us by Doug this week. So we're going to... Doug front-loaded my stupid stuff last time on the podcast because, yes, I ate some really old fish that I thought was chicken, and it just didn't work out well. My body rejected it violently. But this week, Doug was on vacation with his family, and he was driving home last night, and I get a call from him, and he says, "Hey, something happened with the RV. Can you give me a call?" And lo and behold, he ripped the roof off the RV.
Awesome.
He didn't drive under anything, so that's not the problem. But apparently he was in some really high winds, and it got up underneath the front of it, and it just ripped the roof right off the RV. So he put the family up in a hotel for the night, came back with his parents, because they were traveling with them. He got their car, their SUV, and drove out back to Missouri today to get his family and unload the RV and get all their stuff out of it, because there's a chance it's probably going to be totaled at this point. So stupid stuff with Doug is what we got for you guys today. So
I'm mad he drove right through my neck of the woods and didn't even say hi.
Didn't even stop. Well,
yep.
you're probably you're not far off of there, are you?
Yeah, not too far, but yeah.
It's probably an hour off of 70.
I will send him a tax bill for driving through Illinois.
Oh, I'm sure he's getting them already. It's Illinois. They tax you right away.
Yep.
So, as you guys just saw in the video, little vlog intro bit, we were at MWXC yesterday, and Steve came all the way over from Illinois just for MWXC, didn't you?
I sure did, and to get my tire signs off.
Yeah. Steve's wife is very pregnant right now, and normally she kind of helps you get the tire spine stuff sorted out when you needed help, but not really an option. So. Yeah,
no, she don't help me wash. She don't help me do none of that. But I do once in a while get her to help me with tire spines, and for about 3 months now, she's just been like, "Nope, not happening. Don't even ask." So she is almost 8 months pregnant. So
yeah,
she's pretty far along. She looks like she's smuggling a beach ball. So.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Oh, and thanks to Devin and Courtney and everybody else, I now have pacifiers with the custom name Maverick on them. So, which I still have not agreed to. So, yeah, I gotta fight that fight later. But, yep,
well, you can't hardly name the kid Razor.
I know, I thought about Polaris, but I don't know. I gotta fight this fight.
Yeah. So, well, congratulations on the kid. I don't think it's actually been announced on here yet, but congratulations.
Well, thank you.
So, hopefully it doesn't put a damper on your racing stuff.
No, I'm definitely taking it easy this year, that's for sure. And I wanted to go over and hang out for MWXC yesterday. not a very good idea, I guess, because of the weather, but we made the best.
Well, we got your tire spines on, so.
Yeah, we did get that done, but it was a good time, but we still had fun. So, got to ride with Barry Mueller. That was cool. It still wasn't, I guess, the best X3 experience I could have had, but
Right, because, it was, I guess for those of everybody that's just listening to the audio only version, MWXC yesterday was extremely muddy. We got rain for 2 days before, and then it rained basically most of the day yesterday. And then right as we were starting the side-by-sides off, it was sleet. So there was, 6 inches of standing water in a lot of places, and the creek that you guys were going to go through was, it was about 32, 34 inches deep, something like that.
yeah, it was a moving too.
Yeah, it was not a slow, because normally that creek's only about 6 inches deep when there's no rain.
I'm looking it up right now. They said we were going to run for 25 minutes. I don't know what we actually ran for, so I was pulling it up real quick. But
I think you guys did run for right at 25 minutes.
Okay, yeah.
Because
20, 25. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I lost my goggles on lap 2, and I went back and looked at the lap times. It was about 4 minutes in. It was that bad.
So those of you that are really quick at math will come to the conclusion real quick. How could he lose his goggles on lap 2 at 4 minutes in? Well, because of the weather and everything else that we'd had, they cut the track from 6 miles to about 1.5 miles or whatever it was. It was not long.
No, it was not. But it wasn't bad either. I mean, we went through some tight wooded sections and then a downhill into a wide open field, back into the woods, and then back into a wide open right into scoring. So for what it wasn't terrible. I mean, yeah, it was fast, and for only 25 minutes, given the cards that they were dealt, we just couldn't cross that
Right.
creek.
There's
Actually, there was a dirt bike. There's a video of it out there. There's a dirt bike that a guy tried to cross, and he actually got swept off the bike and the bike down the street. So I think MWXC made the right call and said, no more, we're done. This is unsafe. But we were already sitting on the start line. So I would have thought they would have probably went ahead and canceled us too. But the fact that we were just basically all just sitting there ready to go, they just said, we'll give them something. So they did the best they could. And it was a muddy mess. It wasn't bad for Barry and I up front, and then Barnes just snuck right around us somehow, and then we were done. We were just completely covered. We were on lap traffic in a few minutes. It was just that bad. So
yeah,
it was a good X3 ride. I think it's still just hard to have an overall opinion on them. I liked what I experienced yesterday. It was a lot smoother than I was expecting.
Yeah.
Because I know you've had some kind of spine-shattering hits and rides in them, and so I was kind of expecting, to be kind of rough. But there was an uphill where we were just basically wide open, blasting up it, and then there was a huge root in one side on the right side rut.
Mm-hmm.
So it was rutted, 1.5 foot on one side all the way up to the root, and then you bounced over it, and then there was ruts continuing up. And I know Barry's got some good suspension. It soaked it up like it wasn't even there. I was kind of cringing at first, like this is gonna hurt, and
then it didn't.
No, it was quite nice. I was like, man, if I was in mine, I would have been through the roof on that thing. So,
yeah, they are good machines, aren't they? I mean, and I'm not saying the Razor is a bad machine by any stretch. They're just two different takes from two different sets of engineers going at the same problem, which is how do you drive fast over a off-road surface.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
No, I don't think you probably got the full experience of how they handle and how they corner because you guys were sliding everywhere.
Yeah. And I told Barry we have to try this again on a drier day. So I'm hoping maybe to some point get in with Devin for a ride sometime this year somewhere and see it from his perspective too. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm kind of hoping that, like I said, I've tried to take it easy this year. Well, I'm kind of mandated to take it easy this year. So um, AXEC is just kind of my focus, and anything else on top of that's just a bonus at this point. So,
Yeah.
and well, it's all torn apart behind me right now from the last race. So it's already getting its band-aids put on. So.
Well, it's how it is. So, MWXC, anything you want to add about that before we move on to any more topics?
Oh, there's a little bit of commotion about the single seat class. I just say commotion. It's more confusion. Uh, it's labeled a pro class or pro single seat class,
Right.
but there isn't a payout or it's not in writing anywhere. So it's just kind of confusing. I'm hoping MWXC can put some clarification out there on that single seat class because, like I said, there's some guys confused and don't understand, and it's the same entry fee as the pro payout class and some stuff like that. So I don't know. Like I said, I hope they come out and kind of clarify it a little bit. And the points came out too. Tyler Brittingham yesterday ran it in a 2-seat Razor but single driver.
Right. Which is a
And
new class for them this year for MWXC.
Yeah, and it showed his points as 0. And he actually doesn't even show on the board for points, so it's almost like it's not even a points class either. So just a lot of confusion. It just need to hopefully get some clarification from them. Yeah, we got one in the book so far for side by sides or UTVs, but now would be the best time more than ever to come out and let people know before the next round what's kind of going on there.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think just a little bit of clarification. I don't think they're doing anything to be malicious. It's just, it's a new class for them too, and they're trying to figure out, plus the weather and everything that just played havoc, I'm sure didn't help.
And I kind of thought about that too. Yesterday was just obviously a complete disaster for them. I mean, they were doing absolutely everything in their power, so something could have been missed or overlooked. I totally understand. It's also it was our first race for UTVs basically over there too, so it was kind of still new to them. A lot of new staff as well.
Yeah.
But the last year the single seat, it wasn't a class, or was it a class? I think it was a class last year, but it wasn't for awards or points.
There was no points for it. There was no payout.
End of year.
It was just
like
a throwaway.
no end of year or something like that. So
Right.
it was. I'm wondering if maybe there's still some confusion, or maybe even a setting on the scoring or something that it's still set from last year. So I don't know. Now's I guess a really good time to get it clarified and get it straightened out for everybody, because I think the other 2 series in Indiana, Extreme and then also IXCR, are doing a payout, I believe, for them. So it's kind of a competition type thing. So I think a lot of the guys that we know that run single seats are trying to catch all 3 if they can, but if something's odd or different at MWXC, they may not go. So I don't know. Like I said, now's a good time to get it all lined out, figured out.
Yeah. Oh, I think they'll get it sorted out, and I think you may be right. It may just be, that he registered in that class, and the settings on that class in the computer system that does all the scoring was already set to throw out that class for no points, because that's what it's always been.
Yep.
And it's fine. Nobody's upset about it. I think just a little clarification, a little bit of sorting out, and that'll take care of it.
Yep. I agree.
So, yeah, round 1 is in the books. Steve got to ride in a X3. Now,
got to see a bunch of snow at the finish.
Yeah, there was a bunch of snow. Now, I will tell you this, because you guys will see or saw in the video that was just before we started talking that I just drove my Razor right to the race location, because it's only about 10 minutes from my house, and my Razor is registered to be on back roads. I could drive back roads the whole way there. So, which was fine on the way there, because there was a little bit of rain, but I had put some treatment on the windshield, and it was, sheeting off the water just fine on the way there. The problem is, on the way home, it was snowing, and it was big, fat, fluffy snowflakes, and they just stuck to the windshield, and I couldn't see a stinking thing. So I just threw on a pair of goggles and just rode with my head out the window the whole way.
kind of like on is that Dumb and Dumber or no
Ace
Ace
Ventura. Yes,
Yeah.
I was doing exactly that.
That's awesome. I will say there was by the time I got home last night, it was about 10:30 p.m. Central when I got home. There was a 12-degree difference, even at 10:30 at night, from the track to my driveway.
Yeah.
So we didn't get anything at all over here. I guess how the weather lined in through Indiana, it was just cold enough over there to load you guys with some snow for a while. So
Yeah. Well, most of the snow is melted here now. There's still some in the shadowy areas in the woods and stuff, but it's all pretty much gone. Just the sun got to it. So it wasn't anything that was bad. It was just enough to make the roads a little bit slick on the back roads and, cause problems for me trying to drive my Razor home.
Yep, the Crossroads race went off without a hitch today. I believe.
Yep.
I think Bannon got first overall, if I heard
Jason
right.
Bannon got first, and Paul Johnson got third, I believe.
I'm not sure on second. Yeah.
So, congratulations to those guys. Now, I do have to ask you, even though you didn't get what we'll classify as a good X3 ride, would you ever change machines to an X3, do you think? I know you're kind of a diehard Polaris guy.
It's the same question you guys ask all the time. What are you doing with it? For racing?
For
Sure.
racing, yes.
For trail riding? Probably not.
You don't think...
Just because it's just the way it's laid out, like you said before, and how you have to get in and how you sit. I don't know that I would be comfortable in it and be easy to get in and out for a trail ride machine. But for racing, yeah, I've actually considered it, believe it or not. But I've just got so much invested in the Polaris and knowledge, and you can't see it, but I've got like a whole parts warehouse around here of everything. It's hard to throw all that away and start over. And I know there's a lot of racers out there that have done that, and it just takes a lot of time and money and parts and stuff to flip the switch like that. So
I agree. Yeah, I mean, I was really talking more for racing purposes. For trail riding, I really think the X3 is a little bit of a disadvantage for trail riding because you lose some of that front end visibility that you get out of the Polaris.
Yep, that is definitely true. Yeah, even for racing, it would have to be a really, really good deal because of the price. Like you guys have said before, it's just there's so much more.
They are.
So that's another big factor to it.
But you kind of get up there to that, we'll say that top tier where we're looking at like your Razor that's the Dynamics and the X3. There's not a ton of price difference between them. I mean, maybe $1,000 or a couple $1,000 at most.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And if you start looking at the handling, which is a lot of what racing is, because they're both going to run speed-wise and performance of like acceleration right about the same. There's not a dime's worth of difference between their speeds. But handling-wise, I think, and the X3 just handles better.
It does. It does some things better than others. The Polaris does some things better than the others. It all just depends on the time of the day and where you're at. It really does. I mean, but they're so equal. It really again comes down to what are you doing with it. Really, even on the racing side, if you're gonna go run a King of Hammers, I'm gonna take a Polaris Razor.
Yeah,
I
agree.
If we're gonna go run, chasing the triple or something over here on the East Coast or a short course or something like that, probably take the X3 or even the Yamaha. So I mean, it's all in what you're tossed. We haven't really talked about it, but AXCC last week, first place overall, which is kind of odd. It was an NA 1000, and he was in the Pro Turbo class.
Yep.
So very interesting on that one. I don't know exactly how it happened or what. There's actually a pro naturally aspirated class, but it was Colin Truitt who's who it was that won first place overall, I guess he stepped up into the Pro Turbo class with a Razor NA 1000 machine and won first place overall. I think you guys talked about it on the last podcast, but he got Devin on time adjustment by, I think it literally came down to 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So even though Devin physically crossed the line first with Truett behind him, the time adjustments, because they did a split start, is what got Truett the overall win. But there was, I mean, that's pretty impressive. I mean, really, especially for a naturally aspirated machine. That wasn't a horsepower track by any means. I mean, there was some wide open stretches. I mean, heck, a couple spots I was hitting 75 plus mile an hour in mine. So
Right.
I mean, there was those sections, but most of the track was tight woods. It just it was a bad day for X3s too. There was I think 5 or 6 guys that the same exact problem happened. The banjo bolt came out of the brake caliper.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, you also got to look at it like what's the ratio too, because at least at AXCC, I think when I looked, it was 4 or 5 X3s to 1 Razor. I mean, you go to look at King of the Hammers, it's like 4 or 5 Razors to every Can-Am. So I mean, it's hard to say looking at any one direction which one's better or which one's worse or whatever. It's all in the luck of the draw, the gamble, and how the track is, the time of day. They're just so equal and even. So
Yeah, you're right. I mean, like you said, it's all in what you're doing with it and whatever track you're going to and what are the conditions on that track and all that fun stuff. So the real answer is you need one of each.
yeah, I need to Barry Mueller it, I guess. Have the X3 and then the RS1. That would be cool.
That's really the ideal thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll find out at the end of the season how he feels. But
So you got to talking about AXCC a little bit, but yeah, and we talked about it, or Doug talked about it in the last podcast that he did. What was your take on the round 2 AXCC down there at Loretta Lynn's Ranch?
So I got to toss out Cody Willenberg here from CEW Motorsports. So
Okay.
I sent him a message after the race and told him how we did. He's helping me out a little bit this year, and I really appreciate him for doing that because I don't have a lot of money to do this, so anything helps. It's great. And he sent me a message back. He was like, "Oh, congrats!" And he's like, "How was it?" And I said, "Well, I would best compare that track to Moonlight Racing that Midwest Side by Sides did last year. It was rough. It was, I would say, probably the worst or the second worst track I've ever raced on for roughness.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was just a different type of terrain. It wasn't that bad, but there was just rocks everywhere. I can't remember who said it. One of the people that walked the track last weekend came back and said it was like literally looking at axe heads sticking out of the dirt, and that's literally what it looked like. I mean, the rocks were just that sharp, and they would just they were just poking out of the dirt all the way around the track. And then there was an entire creek bed basically that we ran through that was actually like pebbled rocks. Bigger than pea gravel, maybe more like the size of railroad rock, maybe not quite that big. So you saw a lot of guys that went out and bought the like chicken wire fence to put it on the front to help get the rocks, from hitting them. And that didn't turn out that bad. Where that becomes a problem is if those rocks get in your wheels and get stuck between the wheel and the caliper, it basically turns it into a can opener. And there was actually guys that had that literally cut the wheel in half. I mean, it did happen. I know Kyle Chaney, when I went to 29s, I think there was even one guy with the 30s with on 15-inch wheels just to get more clearance in there. So it was just different. I don't have anything bad to say per se about it. It was still a track. It was still repeatable. just wasn't for everybody. It really wasn't. And I said the same thing about Moonlight, and I knew that going into the Moonlight race last year. Moonlight actually had like rock shelves. We were going, up or over or down. So it wasn't nearly to that extreme, but it was just rough. It was a very hard race on equipment. That's what it was. It was pretty costly for a lot. I got pretty lucky. I only lost two literally brand new first race on them tires. Or sorry, one tire was brand new on that race. But there was guys coming in with hub broken wheels. There was tire balls all over the track. There was a tire spine even in the track. A complete tire had failed or came off, and there was a tire spine in the track. You could have, I think Double Bel Air said it best, you could have built an entire machine out of the parts off the track. You name it, it was out there. Tree stickers, you were dodging those. I mean, it was just a brutally hard on machine track. So, and I think a lot of guys are starting to kind of get concerned if that's going to be what's going to be like or not. So, I mean, we're going to be running after 30 to 40 UTVs every race because there's an AM UTV class and then a PM class that we run in. And it's going to be beat up most of the time by the time we get out there. We're just going to make it even worse. So it's going to be rough. But knock on wood, I'm doing okay. I'm not the fastest guy. I know that. I don't try to set the world on fire, but it means the most to me to finish, and it's working. So I'm just hanging in there, and I think next race we'll sort of cooler and go for a trail ride.
Well, it's not quite like that, but
no.
Yeah. So I mean it's been a rough couple of races there at AXCC. Texas was pretty rough. It wasn't the worst, but I mean it was pretty rough. And then Tennessee was really rough. The next one coming up is it's down at Park Mammoth Resort in Kentucky, in Park City, Kentucky. So that's coming up here, a month? A little less than?
Yeah. So, and I saw that AXCC, or one of the people from AXCC had said on Facebook, somebody was asking if the track was going to be real rocky like Tennessee, and they said, no, it's nothing like Tennessee. It's not rocky at all. So hopefully it's going to be a pretty good track without the rock and the damage, but time will tell. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm really wanting to see, and I don't mind the tight technical stuff like that looks like what Kentucky or Tennessee was, but I'd like to see some more open and let them really run. That's just the type of track I tend to like anyway. I mean, there's all different kinds. So
yeah. And the one thing that I do really like that AXCC is doing is they're actually doing a preview video of a lap on the track, both ATV and UTV.
Yes.
I've never seen anybody do that before, and I think that is awesome because before we even get to the track, we can have an idea of what we're going to go through. And if you want to change tires or something, you can do that almost based off that video. You have a good idea of what you're going into, and it also helps with walking the track because then you can say, oh, I remember seeing this or seeing that. When you go out and walk the track, it's not an excuse to not walk the track, but it definitely helps just give you another layer of memory of what it looks like. So,
yep. No.
Props to them for doing that.
Yeah, I think they're doing a lot of things right, and if it was a 10-year-old series and there was, some hiccups, I think people would be a little more quick to criticize it. But as long as we all remember, this is a brand new series that just started this year that was put together in 3 or 4 months. They're doing an amazing job.
Yeah. I know they're still trying to get the registration trailer wrapped and stuff like that, but even going from Texas to here, like this race, I know you didn't get to make it down there, Chad, but they had all the banners up at the finish line and all in there. They're making great strides, and I really like what they're doing, and they're improving drastically from each race to race, and I'm expecting to see some more with this huge break between the last race and the new one, or the next race, because month, almost maybe right at a month between the races. So it gives them some time to get some more stuff squared away. And like you said, they pretty much did this in almost 4 months. So bear with them. And I think Andy said it best on the podcast is it may not be that great the first year, but he guarantees guys are going to be missing a lot if they miss the second year.
Right.
So,
And he's willing to listen to the racers and the other people who have feedback, about he's not saying, "Oh, I know what I'm doing, leave me alone, I don't need your input." He's willing to listen to what these guys have to say about everything. So it's a good thing. I think he's taking steps in the right direction for sure.
Absolutely.
So one more thing we're going to talk about before we get into trivia, because I know that's your favorite part of the show, Steve, especially. But everyone has heard my kind of review or what my initial thoughts were on the Talon. Now, we actually did get confirmation from the dealership that we're working with, which is Car Corral over there in Illinois. They got a Talon in, and we are going to be taking a look at it here hopefully this week is kind of the tentative plan. We're going to try and head over that way and take a look at it and get a, little short ride in and show you guys what we think about it. So that's going to be good. But Steve, I know you haven't been in one, but what's your initial take on the Talon?
I've tried to remain optimistic about it from day one. Honda is known for the reliability. So, like I said, I've been trying to stay optimistic. When I started seeing the pictures and stuff like that, and the numbers came out and stuff like that, I was kind of let down. But you just don't know. Initially, there was a rumor that the thing had one more horsepower to the rear wheels than the Polaris RZR. That kind of fight me back up, and I was like, all right, I'm listening. So I didn't completely write it off, but then I started listening and just kind of watching the videos, and all these videos start popping up of it drag racing a RZR and a Yamaha, and it's winning, and it's winning, and it's winning, and it's winning, and it was like, oh, okay, I'm listening more. So, then Nate over at Alba Racing puts it on the dyno, and I don't remember the numbers, but it did pretty good. It was almost, I think, dead on with the RZR, maybe 1 horse more. I can't remember the exact number.
It was like within 1 horse of what the XP 1000 was.
Yeah, so it's so close. I was just shocked. So I want to see it in action. A lot of guys have them. A lot of guys are out there trail riding. I haven't seen anyone, even Facebook post of anybody saying they broke anything, anything like that. I'm really curious to see how it holds up, and I really can't wait to see it at a race. Good race, not like a mud bog or a real. Everybody that's done a review on it said it's just going to be a fast woods machine. So that's going to be real indicative of an Indiana series over here, or like AXCC. So I believe Andy Kiner of AXCC even made a comment that he would pay the race entry fee for the first person to race a Honda at AXCC. Just throwing that out there. I can provide a screenshot of proof of that, but I thought that was pretty cool. It's to be seen. It's still doing good. It is no slouch, like I think a lot of people were anticipating. But it's another one of those, what are you doing with it things. And then pull out your wallet for what are you doing with it. Because I think that was the only downfall was the price. I think they priced themselves out of that market because you can go get a RZR cheaper. You can get a RZR Turbo cheaper. That's really hard. If you're just if most people don't know what they need and what they want is what it really comes down to. I'm in at my dealer all the time, and people come in. They're like, "Well, I've heard a lot about that RZR Turbo. Tell me about it." And like you guys have said, the dealer is going to try to sell you what they think you need and what does best for that dealer. you know, and that turbo is going to be more pricey. It's going to be more profit margin and everything else. So somebody may not need or want that turbo. They just heard about it, you know, and that's what they end up in or whatever. So it's going to be hard to come into a dealer to spend that extra money because a lot of people do this stuff based off a price tag. I mean, it's a toy. It's not your daily driver getting back and forth to work unless you live in Indiana apparently. But so you got to look at it from a dollars and cents point of view, and I think that's where a lot of dealers are going to have a hard time selling it to that person that is not a diehard Honda fan and knows exactly what he wants. Walking in, I want the Talon. So it's, again, what are you going to do with it? And we'll see how reliable it ends up being over time. But that's my impression. It's no slouch, but man, pull out that wallet. So
yeah, it is pricey when you compare it to the razors, but when you start comparing it to like the Arctic Cat XX and you compare it to even the naturally aspirated X3, it's in that same wheelhouse.
Yeah. That's why Polaris does so good, because they just have the price.
Yeah.
They did their homework. That's what they did.
Yeah, they did. Now there's been more videos come out, obviously, as they've been out in the public's hands more. I've seen some more videos of guys. So the first initial video that I think everybody probably saw was, and we had posted it in here, was the Talon racing a XP1000, and we had talked about it that, okay, it wasn't exactly apples to apples because that XP1000 was a 2014. It had like 32s on it or something like that, and with the windshield and bumpers, and you know, it just wasn't an even comparison. I've seen a video since that it's racing a 2019 XP1000, and it's just an all-stock machine. The Razor beat it, and it also, the Talon raced a RS1, and the RS1 beat it. I'm not saying it completely blew its doors off. It seems that the horsepower that they're saying, oh, you put down more horsepower with a direct drive transmission, you really don't. You know,
there's loss in no matter which way you
right.
put it to the wheels, whether it be a belt, a direct gear transmission like the Yamaha. Every single one of them is going to have and way more loss than what you.
And I'm not saying the Talon was bad by any stretch. I'm just saying it looks like the loss of horsepower through the drivetrain was about the same as what the Razor would have been, and being that the Talon only starts with 104 horsepower, and that's advertised by Honda at the crank, and the Razor starting at 110, that's about the gapping distance we're seeing. So it's nothing that's bad, it's just something that we're seeing and saying, okay, it makes sense that it lost.
And Honda did their homework. They had a Wildcat, they had a Yamaha, they had a Razor. They compared this thing long before anybody in the public ever even knew what was going on. And if you look at history, even across the brand, you can almost guarantee what's going to happen next year. It came out 104 horse this year. Next year they may bump it to 110, 120, 130. It gives them a marketing advantage, basically, to do that. Maybe they drop a turbo next year. Maybe they wait till the year after. I mean, they have a business plan with this, is what it boils down to, and they know that next year they're going to do this, or they have the possibility of doing this depending on what the rest of the market does. So as things are needed, they just reach into their bag and pull it out from the marketing team, and that's how it's going to work. So it's going to be really interesting. I know Nate at Alba is already working on it, on getting some more power out of it, whether that be with a tune. I think Nate's already started with a pipe and some stuff like that. And from the videos, I think Side by Side blog, they did a good walk around video, and they said it themselves that there's just so much exhaust on that thing that there's got to be no questions asked, some power advantages in doing some better exhaust on it alone. So I know guys they're getting their hands on them right now, and it's going to be interesting to see what they can actually get out of that engine with aftermarket tuning and stuff.
Yep.
So.
No, I think they're going to be a good, solid performer. I just don't think they're going to be this standout all-star.
No, it's definitely not market shattering or earth shattering by any means, but it's definitely not your farm machine either. So.
Right. No, I agree. So we have actually already pretty much gone through all the time that we would use for the podcast. But we got to fit trivia in.
No, we're gonna cancel trivia.
No, we're not canceling. I made sure that we had time for trivia. Don't you worry.
They better all be Simpsons questions.
Sorry, there is not a Simpsons one on here.
You knew I was coming on. You couldn't get a Simpsons one.
All right, are you ready for your trivia?
No, but I don't have a choice.
All right, question number 1. How many animal extinctions have humans been responsible for?
Oh.
So us as a society of humans, how many animals have we completely killed their entire species?
How many different species, or
no, just
total number of animals?
Not total number of animals, like species of.
Oh man, I don't even know where to start. I'm just gonna pull. We'll say 812 different species.
322.
I wasn't completely out in right field.
Yeah, you were off, but it wasn't terribly off. I mean, it could have been 1,000,000. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Question number 2. Termites are the longest living insect. How long do they live? Or I guess the better way to phrase this is what is the maximum that a certain species of termite can live up to?
Oh, I want to say they can live years. 26 years.
100 years. One species of termite can live up to 100 years.
That's not unbelievable when you think of some of the age of some of these big trees, I guess. They can crawl up in there and probably survive a while.
Yep. All right, question number 3. What food has caused more weight gain than any other food?
Now, actual food, or can it be a drink?
Food. It is a normal, like, eating it food.
Candy.
Nope, it is potato chips.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's totally believable.
Yeah, it is, because basically there's not much potato there. It's sliced real thin, and then they just throw it in oil and deep fry it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Not good for you. All right, question number 4. What color was Elvis's natural hair color?
Ooh. Brown.
No, he was actually blonde.
That was gonna be my second guess. He dyed it black, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
Yep. So close yet so far away.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 5. Approximately how many websites are hacked per day?
Oh man. I should probably ask those guys at chadcats.com. Let's go with 1,012.
30,000.
Wow.
A lot.
I have no idea how many web pages are out there, websites, so there's got to be a lot. But...
Yep. Yeah. All right, question number 6. How many muscles does a caterpillar have?
All of them.
All of them. Yes, it does have all of them.
That was a Doug answer.
Yes.
How many muscles? It's probably some astronomical amount. 210.
No, it's actually way more than that. It is 4,000.
Okay.
Humans have 629.
Okay.
So, lots more muscles than you thought.
I did not have that in my anatomy and physiology class, so I did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't do much school stuff, so whatever.
A lot of people didn't know it. I was actually an EMT for several years, so we had to go over all the bones, but we had quite a bit of training on A&P. So,
but you didn't study caterpillars very well, I guess.
Nope, we sure didn't. We didn't dissect any caterpillars.
All right, question number 7. How long does it take our brains as humans to process something? So you see something or you feel something. How long does it take your brain to process something?
I don't know. I'm thinking reaction time, so I'm thinking milliseconds.
It is in milliseconds. I'll give you that much.
Let's say 200 milliseconds.
Yeah, you overshot it a little bit. 80 milliseconds.
Okay.
So technically, we're always living in the past.
That's true.
So,
One way to put it.
Yeah, that's a very generalized way to put it. But question number 8. Studies have shown that what percentage of people who think they are gluten intolerant actually are not. So these are people that if you ask them, they would say, yes, I'm gluten intolerant. But then once they actually are tested for this, they are not.
It's a percentage based on what amount?
So it's a percentage that we're looking for. So let's say there was 100 people who said that they were gluten intolerant based on their own just diagnosis. What percentage of them are not? Yeah, well, I'm wanting are not. So the inverse of that. But so what percentage of them are actually not?
99.
What's that?
99.
It wasn't that much. It was 86% are actually not gluten intolerant.
I figured it was a lot more mental than it was anything. So
It is a lot mental.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not very many people, about 14%, if my math is right, are actually gluten intolerant who think that they are gluten intolerant. So yeah, I think a lot of it's mental. I always kind of chuckle about it because everyone's like, "Oh, I'm gluten intolerant." I'm like, if this was really this big of a deal, cavemen like or whatever, our ancestors, we all would have died off a long time ago. But anyway, question number 9. How much thicker, this is, important sciencey bit. How much thicker are ridged potato chips than normal potato chips?
In what kind of measurement?
What do you mean? Oh, you mean like this? It's a multiple of it.
Okay.
Is it 10 times thicker? 8 times whatever.
How much thicker they are than just regular?
Yeah, than just a normal potato chip.
Let's say 45%.
They are 4 times thicker.
Whatever.
So,
I'm sitting here trying to picture them, and I could have saw about half the size, but
yeah.
Okay.
So the original reason that they invented the ridged potato chips, because they were after the normal ones, was I guess consumers were asking for a potato chip that they could dip into dip without it breaking, so they put thicker and with ridges so that it would withstand the dipping.
I see you're getting your trivia today from potatochipstrivia.com.
Is that, yeah, you figured me out. Well, actually, question number 10 is about chips also. So,
Called it.
Question number 10. What is the top-selling chip during Super Bowl weekend?
Tostitos.
Nope, it's Doritos.
Ah.
So
I
close.
like all the dips and stuff.
So close. It is a corn chip, but Doritos are definitely different.
Yeah. I think they're losing their shoes with Tostitos.
Yeah. So I'm going to try and do the Doug thing here and get all of our sponsors. First of all, we want to thank CW Motorsports, they're our title sponsor for this year. We got word from them that the Sunday Drive Razor 800 buggy will be ready to be picked up here. Should be this week. And we're gonna get going on that as soon as the ground dries out, which we got a bunch of rain, so the ground hasn't dried any at all right now. We also want to thank Watch Communications. They host the podcast, both the audio side of it and our website. We want to thank TGM Off-Road. They're a great group of guys that just like to get together. They cook a lot of food. They ride. They're just a good group of guys to get together with if you guys are looking for somebody to ride with. And also Spangs Fab over there in Illinois, not too far from where Steve is. If you guys are looking for bumpers, roll cage, tree kickers, any kind of custom tube work or anything like that, Spangs Fab can definitely hook you up. If you guys are wanting to find us, you can find us on the web at eminentperformance.com. If you're looking for the audio-only version, you can find the audio-only version of our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. Obviously, the video version is available on YouTube. And, Steve, am I missing anything?
I don't think so.
Oh, we're also on Instagram. If you guys want to check us out there at Eminent Racing, and we're on Facebook at Eminent Racing. We're probably the most active on Facebook, and we also post to Instagram pretty regularly. We tend to like Facebook, though, because we get to interact with you guys a little bit more. So, I'm going to say that's all of it. If I missed it, Doug will definitely give me grief about messing it up next week.
You can say it twice next week.
No, I'll just mess it up twice next week. So, well, no matter how many RVs you've ripped the roof off of while driving home from your family vacation, thanks for riding along with us.
Tired of going down, tired of myself, tired of this town.